look around you, do you see what I see? You could take a look.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the hidden work of aging in place. My name is Saran, and I work for Griswold Home Care of Chevy Chase with Erin. And today we're going to be exploring the hidden work of aging in place, just the daily tasks, home adjustments, emotional support that makes, independence possible. We have our panelists. We have Libby Kincaid and Aida Sarusa Medell. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong, from Potomac Concierge. We also have Jamie from Freedom Mobility Solutions, and as well as Erin Pickrell from Griswold Home Care of Chevy Chase. So to start us off, we're going to be hearing from Libby and Ida with Potomac Concierge. They're experts in organizing, moving help, and assistance with home maintenance. And so just a little bit about the speakers. Ida Sarusa Medell, I do apologize if I'm saying that wrong.
Okay, Aida's
All right, Ida. She is a lifelong advocate for helping others and a dedicated force in her community. She has over 20 years of experience as an accountant in both the private and public sectors. Ida specializes in bringing financial clarity and structure to large organizations as co-founder and CFO of Potomac Concierge. She blends her analytical background with her passion for people and plays a vital role in crafting personalized solutions that constantly exceed clients' expectations. And Libby Kincaid brings a diverse background shaped by her experience growing up overseas. She has a degree in psychology, entrepreneurship, and she's teaching at Montgomery College, where she offers a class called Declutter Your Life and Space. Her work at Potomac Concierge combines empathy and organizations to help families find balance and create structures at home. So we're going to open the floor to them, and they will be sharing. So give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. All right. Can everyone see that? Perfect. All right. Ida, Libby, the floor is yours.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having us. We certainly appreciate just the opportunity to let others know how we can help and not only simplify life's transitions, but whatever we can help with, we're more than happy to. Aida?
Yes, thank you also for having us. We are hopefully give you an idea of some of the things we can do and what challenges happen, whether you are going to age in place or maybe transition to a different place. And then hopefully we'll answer any questions you have at the end.
So I think we can go
To the
should
next
we
slide.
tell you next slide, or how would that best work for you?
Yes, that will be helpful.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Sorry about that.
So I can just give a little backup. Aida and I started the company 20 years ago, and we started, it was kind of just personal assistant services. We could take care of things around the house or just busy people's schedules, calendars, that kind of thing. And we've also do organization services. We do physical organization, but also part of the personal assistant is just life organization, getting people's calendars or anything like that, arranging for vendors. And as we always say, we've been doing move management for decades now, but now it's a buzzword, and it's kind of something that just we've been doing for a long time. So a lot of our clients started moving, so we started taking care of that. And we've also now started a home maintenance program of where we've got people who are staying in their homes, but perhaps they don't have the time or the ability to stay on top of everything that needs to be done, be it get the gutters cleaned, or, it might be an older couple and maybe one spouse took care of it and the other no longer can. So we pretty much do anything as long as it's legal and ethical. And we've got a great team of 20 women. We're in Virginia, DC, and Maryland. And so it's kind of a matchmaking of what somebody needs in their location. We'll assign them an associate who can step in and assist as needed.
And, one of the things that's a great place to start is just to look at the space. And I think pretty much everyone can use some help thinning the space out and I'm going through the process of downsizing personally. And when I look around, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through all of this? I raised three kids and there's a lot of stuff, but if you have someone helping you, your children are not a good choice to help you, by the way. They can be impatient and judgmental, and they don't want their stuff back, even though they don't want you to get rid of it. They don't want it. So there's that challenge. But I think we have a system where we can do it all, or you can participate. It's whatever works for you, whatever makes you comfortable. And when we go through that process, we never really get rid of anything without someone's permission. So you don't have to worry about that. Um, and we're just here to help support whatever needs you might have. And as far as the home maintenance, we can also just set it up so that we can do it or you can do it, but at least as a reminder, and things don't get overlooked because other things in life happen.
Can we go to the next screen, please? So this is kind of just basically what we do. And so you can see like the personal assistance, it's errands, vendor management, bill pay, appointments, calendars, just so many things that can go to the wayside. Perhaps there is a crisis or, a health crisis or just something with a partner or something, we can step in and make it happen. And that helps the children, say they're out of state, we can handle this. We do have a very strict confidentiality agreements, but we do work it so if the parent allows us to talk to the kids, we can give the kids peace of mind of that we are getting things managed or handled here, say they're in California or something. And that's actually, we've got a move right now, a gentleman, he's moving to join his he's in Chevy Chase, he's moving to join his family in Seattle. He's 88, he's been in the house 50 years. The daughter is in Seattle, the son is in New York. We've got an associate going 3 hours, 3 times a week just to go through the stuff. And then that just to help and work with the kids from afar to make sure things go as they should. So.
And as far as the move management part of it, after, we go through what to keep and what not to keep and who wants what, we can also help you coordinate with the movers so that everything gets labeled properly. And we do a little bit of packing, but we do recommend that the movers do the packing. But we will help you unpack, put everything away and organize it in a way that makes sense for everybody.
In that organization, we can come back for maintenance visits, or if things aren't quite right, or if the person is staying in the home, things might need to adjust a little bit. Things might need to be more accessible. Or we had another client who had a crisis, was moved in assisted living, but then moved back into his home. But we needed to come in and take care of things like get the carpets up and make rooms for the caregivers and just get some of the clutter out so it became more manageable having caregivers there to be able to function as well. Or even we've had situations of where we've had to make room for the caregiver to have a room. It used to be the junk room, and that needs to sometimes change. So just we can come in, every situation is different. That's what I think differentiates us, is we are not cookie cutter. There is not a one way to do it. It's whatever works best for the client and for the family. So if next slide, please. And yeah, go ahead, Aida.
Well, no, I was just going to say we have, we do the home management. We can do logistics for all the transitions. Griswold will take care of your other needs for caregiving and companionship. And then Jamie will come in as well and help complete the package. And I think it's nice to have so much support so that your families and you can just have a little bit of peace of mind that things are taken care of and properly set up for your success in whatever living situation you pick.
Next screen. I think that, oh, yeah, here's some. I know I've been interjecting some, so Aida, if you want to do.
Well, like you said, we had a situation where there was a couple and the husband had a stroke and they lived in a 4-story townhouse, which wouldn't work. And they've been, one spouse had been trying to downsize for a very long time, and the other just didn't have the time to do it. So after that happened, they had to move out to an apartment, and then the spouse had to come in every day and try to work with us to get the home on the market and set up while managing the caregiver at the apartment. So you really shouldn't wait until things are in a crisis mode. It's really easier, even if you just do a couple of hours a week. And we've done this with people where we just come in a few hours a week just to get the process started. And once you start decluttering, you'll be amazed how good it feels it's like a weight lifted off your shoulders. And it will make your life easier for your children too if they're helping you transition to different space.
I'll also add, we've got another client who she lives in Virginia and she is in her 80s. She's very independent and very competent, but still she's slowing down a little bit, does not have any family in the neighborhood. So we have an associate assigned to meet her once a week. And that associate is works with her to get her like she's getting involved in some senior activities in the neighborhood, or she needs her house cleaned. So we've arranged for a house cleaner, got some quotes, got some cleaners in there. She needs a new computer. So we have a great vendor list of people, anything that needs to be done. So we've lined her up with a senior computer specialist who will help her pick the computer that works best for her. So just kind of somebody to come in and just help with those life things that, well, it was also they helped getting her taxes together. It was highly stressful for her to just to get them together. So it wasn't we did her taxes or anything. We just got the list from the accountant and then helped gather them and then got them to the accountant. And that's even, we drove her and the tax documents to the accountant so that she had the peace of mind that they arrived. So it's those kind of things of where, again, it's not, we'll come in and do this or that. It's whatever is needed and at that time, and every day is different. So that's kind of a bit of the personal assistant. So it's kind of everything. Clients just kind of roll over. One is personal assistant. The next day might be some organization. The next day might be some personal, the home maintenance. So it's really, but then we do have some people who are only organization but it's just whatever is needed. I know we keep saying that, but that's really how it just falls.
And also, the other thing that we do, if you are moving and putting your home on the market, we can help clear everything out. We have contractors that we work with that would do painting or whatever your real estate agent would recommend, and get it clean, get it staged, and do all those things. So you can focus on your new space and make sure that it's accessible and good, and not worry about the rest of the stuff.
Okay, next screen, I think. And just here's an idea how to get started. We're more than happy to, talk to somebody on the phone. We do free consultations, and then we have a contract which ensures confidentiality, lets everybody know that we're bonded, insured, background checked, and just how we operate. And then once we do that, we can assign an associate that would be just the right match for them, and then they just get started and at their pace. There's no required, you must do 2 hours a week, you must do 2 hours a month. It's not like that. It's a la carte. We do have minimums on time. Say somebody comes to the house, as travel is involved, where there's a 2-hour minimum. If it's organization, we have a 3-hour minimum. Virtual work is 15-minute increments. So but basically it starts with just talking to the prospective client and seeing how we can help. So that's it. I think that, Aida, anything else?
Yeah, no, I think, that gives you a good overview, but never hesitate to ask. If you don't see it on the list or we haven't covered it, if there's something that I can't tell you how many times people send us an email or a text and say, you might think this is a funny request. Do you actually do this? And we're like, of course, we've done that multiple times. So don't hesitate to ask if there's any way that we can help you or help find someone that can take care of it. We will absolutely do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think that's really informative.
Yes, thank you so much, Libby and Ida, for giving us more information about your services. Next up, we have Jamie Bassett from Freedom Mobility Solutions, and they help families plan for modifications and select durable medical equipment to make space safer and more accessible. So, Jamie, the floor is yours.
Sure, thanks for inviting me to join your conversation. That was really great, Aida and Libby. I enjoyed hearing about all that you do, and of course, Erin, and how we all can kind of work together. I will share my screen. I do have a slide deck here. Just give me 1 second to kind of get this in the right present mode. All right. I know the title is The Hidden Work of Aging in Place. Again, I'm Jamie. I'm a physical therapist of 20 years, so I'm not treating patients anymore, but I do have a lot of experience as far as being in homes and working with seniors. And I've worked for a long time as a PT with Freedom Mobility Solutions. So it's a nice mix for me to be able to give advice in the arena of home modifications and also medical equipment. So the biggest thing, I guess, when you're thinking about, like, everybody pretty much thinks in their head, I want to age in place. I want to stay at home as long as possible. The reality is, that may work, and it also might not be, might not be the best solution, particularly as things progress or if medical conditions happen. So you really want to know, like, is your home safe, for long-term aging in place? And that's also something you need to consider is your budget. A lot of people bought homes, a long time ago that don't have these big open floor plans. So it's not always the home that you purchased a while ago might not be the home that's best for you, as you move on in your life. So one of the things to consider is, budget. Like, can I do, a major renovation? That's going to be costly. Do I want to put an addition on for my mother in my own home, or do I want to, make sure that I have a living space that's on the main floor? So sometimes that can take like a full modification. There are a lot of things you can do that are more simple modifications that may not take as much time, as much resources, and can really be helpful at allowing seniors to age in place if that is where they want to do so. So we'll talk about some of those minor modifications and more simple things. And Freedom Mobility Solutions pretty much falls into more of that modification light, doing those little things, preparing your home so that you can age in place for as long as you can. But if the decision is also to do a full renovation or remodel your bathroom, those are things that we don't do personally, but we certainly would point you in the right direction. You also want to make sure that your home is safe. So we'll go through like a home safety checklist. I'm sure Aida and Libby, they go through this too. You want to make sure that your house is safe. And one of the biggest things we want to prevent from all of this is fall prevention. Falls usually, prevent people from staying in their homes. They generally might need more care. So we want to put things in place that will prevent falls and keep you living with the highest quality of life that you can. So we do put out a fall prevention home safety guide. Of course, if anyone's interested in this, I'm not going to go through all of the things, but one of the things that was just mentioned is clutter. I mean, that's a big thing that can cause falls. So being able to reach out to a resource, if it's not a family member or a resource like Potomac Concierge, to be able to come in and declutter those areas so that you do have safe, accessible pathways to your bathroom, your kitchen, things like that. You'll want to make sure that cords are put away, that areas are well lit, particularly at night when people are getting up for the bathroom. So there's a lot of simple solutions that can be put in place that may not necessarily need freedom mobility solutions, but we want to be educational for our customers as well and make sure that they're, making those informed decisions. And if some of these tasks are bigger than, what you can handle on your own, we want you to be able to reach out to resources. So in considering if you're going to age in place, you do want to make sure that your home accessible. Can I get in and out of my house easy? Can I do that safely? Can I get out to the doctor? Can I get out and do all my social engagements that I want to? So things you can do, things that Freedom Mobility can help with is a lot of these accessibility solutions. We can put ramps. We do a lot of modular ramps throughout the DMV. So we do DC, Northern Virginia, and Central Maryland. And you can also choose to build a deck as well. Again, that's a personal choice. Some people prefer modular ramps, basically because they're low maintenance and they can be removed easy if your situation changes. And one of the things that we do also is we rent modular ramps and thresholds. So thinking about getting in and out of the house safer, if you have a multi-level house, they mentioned a case of a four-level townhouse. I mean, you want to think about all those steps. Is a stair lift something that can be put in place easily? So if you have two stairways and a landing, you also want to think, can I make that transfer from one stair lift to the next safely? You may be able to do that temporarily. Do you want to put a curved stair lift in? Now, there's a big difference in price between a curved stair lift and a straight stair lift. So those are all a lot of things to consider, when you're thinking about, is this going to be feasible for me to stay in my own home? Every home is different. So every situation, is not the same. Where you might see this deck on this ramp on the deck, it might be in the front of their home. It might be in the back or in their garage. So we can help figure that out of what is going to be the best. Do you want to rent? Do you want to purchase? Maybe while you're figuring out those steps. Sometimes on the right, you'll see a vertical platform lift. So this is basically like a mini elevator without all the extensiveness of putting in an elevator. I know a lot of families in the DMV do choose to actually put elevators in their home. And again, that's a more expensive option, but it's definitely an option for those families. We do not put elevators in personally, but there are companies that can do that. We're doing more of the modification light options. So vertical platform lifts are nice if you were going to have a big slope for a ramp. You don't want to necessarily put an outdoor stair lift. So again, as the experts, we can let you know if it's something that's feasible and what are your options. So when it comes to wheelchair ramps and stair lifts, one thing that makes us unique is we rent a lot of these items that are rent to own. So whether it's a short-term need or a long-term need, we can definitely help you give you those options so that you can make the right decision for yourself. Other really nice modifications you're going to think about as time goes on is simple things like grab bars, security poles. You can see on the left, grab bars added to a bathroom can be tremendous at preventing falls. So that is, again, a simple solution. There's all types of grab bars, so it's not just a one way to do it or one type. We tend to use very reputable brands. Freedom Mobility is very selective in what they use, so we're using Moen. We also do a lot of the security poles. As a PT, I'm a big fan of them just because they're a simple, less costly solution to helping get out of bed in your bathroom for tight spaces. So again, think about bathroom safety where most falls do occur. And again, if you're going to do a full modification, you might want to have a roll-in shower. And if you have the ability to do that, you want to think about those things. Think not having a step to go in the tub. You can do simple things by put tub benches, but you also may want to put the easiest measures in place. So again, depending on your situation. I will talk on the bottom right a little bit about railings. So that's, again, a simple solution. Your front porch doesn't have railings. If it doesn't, you can make that decision to put one on one side or both. Railings and stairs really can make a big difference. You can add a second railing. A lot of homes just have railings on one side of a stairwell. You could add a second railing. So those are, again, more simple modification light tools to help prevent falls. Something to consider. So Freedom Mobility Solutions, we do also do those items. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the DME side now. There's a whole host of DMEs. We'll talk about some of these other options. So what are your options for obtaining mobility equipment? I mean, there's several out there. I'll tell you the difference of Freedom Mobility and how it differs from some others. So a lot of people think, what does Medicare cover? I want what Medicare covers, and we're going to go, with that, and that's perfectly fine. Knowing that insurance kind of covers the basic option. You don't have a lot of choice. They're gonna give you maybe one option, maybe two with a slight upgrade, but it is going to be on the basic side. Considering like your hospital bed, think about your wheelchair or your rollator. And it pretty much fits sort of the average size person. If you're 6'4", you're 4'11", which there's a lot of little ladies out there that are shorter. It might not be always the best solution. So know that insurance may not meet all your needs. There's a whole world of DME and home medical equipment out there that a lot of people just don't know about. If it's something simple, you could also look at your loan closet or reuse center. Those are some, again, more basic options, but by all means, there's no wrong answer here. At Freedom Mobility, we are on the private pay side of durable medical equipment, home medical equipment. What you'll find with us is that you are going to have a better selection. You're going to have some of the more reputable brands that you can choose from. You'll find that you have two places in the DMV. We have two showrooms, one in Northern Virginia, in Ashburn, and one also in Hanover, Maryland, that has been there for over a decade. So we really we're a little bit old school. Our owner worked a lot with insurance-based equipment for years, and both owners, Brad and Leslie Wine, they really wanted to have a place where people could get better quality equipment, more options and choices, and try them out first, and really get the consultation piece of it. So that is nice. You can come to the showrooms, family members come to the showrooms. You can try out different pieces of equipment to make sure that it's the right fit for you. You also get to consult with the experts, try before you buy, and then you also get the privilege of having the warranty done for you, the servicing, and the long-term support. So we may not be the cheapest option, but we definitely are going to have really nice options, and we kind of in that boutique style. The other pieces would be online. Online, people buy DME, everything already pretty much goes to Amazon. But there are some risks with Amazon. The servicing, you may not get a customer service person on the team. You have to put it together. How do you return the item if it doesn't work for you? So there's definitely a place for buying smaller items on Amazon that you might need. But when it comes to a bigger purchase, we always suggest, going somewhere and really, a place where you can really try before you buy and be fully educated. Because we do a lot of education on our products, and we really stand behind that with our teams. Patient transfer lifts, I'm not going to get into all the details, but there's a lot out there that is not covered by insurance. As a PT, we carry 4 to 5 different patient transfer lifts. So if you're in home care, home health, we rent a lot of these lifts. So it's nice because you can try them for a month and work with your therapist and your family member. A lot of the skilled nursing facilities in the area have our lifts there, and they work with their patients and families. So these are, for instance, 2 lifts that aren't covered by insurance. So again, we're going to educate. There's nothing wrong with asking us information. People text me all the time and talk to our team in the showrooms. This is a situation. Do you have a transfer lift that might work for us? And being able to rent them is pretty unique to us, so that you don't have to make that long-term commitment. And then if it's working for you, then it's rent to own. So just have questions about patient lifts, I'm happy to answer that. So we also do a lot of mobility equipment. So I've talked about the home accessibility on the right side, home care equipment, and mobility equipment. So power chairs, scooters, we have so many different options. It's an individual decision to be able to find which. Do you want a folding one? Do you want a 4-wheeled, a 3-wheeled? What's going to work for your lifestyle? A lot of people like the trendier fold-up chairs now, so that you can get out and see your grandson or granddaughter's game. If long-term distance ambulation becomes challenging. Lots of different types of rollators, different wheels, brakes. Some don't have those cables, they're exposed. It's a bit of a personal preference. And there's a lot of items that are just a lot lighter for somebody caring for a family member to put things in their car. Like we carry a bariatric size wheelchair that's very lightweight. So the one through insurance might be 50 to 60 pounds. We have one that's about 18 to 20 pounds. So things that can make your life easier. You don't know until you know, so we'll educate as far as like what is available. Let's see. High-low beds, talking about fall risk. If you're going to age in place and you want to stay in your own environment, at some point in your life, it'll probably be brought up, about an electric bed, a fully electric bed. I'm not talking about semi-electric. I'm talking about one that has the ability to raise and lower. That is a really nice feature for preventing falls, as we age. So we believe in that function and how that helps. So we carry this is only 6 of them on this flyer. We carry about 8 different types of high-low hospital beds. You don't want it to look like a hospital bed and you want it to feel more like a home style bed. We have all sizes for you. All types of medical bed that have better positioning than you might get through insurance. Some of our beds expand wider, expand longer for those, not one size fits all. Our dementia a floor level hospital bed is quite popular because of fall risk at night, not having good safety awareness. So it drops down to the floor at night, and it does prevent fall or at least injury related to trying to get out of bed. So that's considered home medical equipment as well. In all of our categories that we do offer a lot of rentals, again, for those short-term needs. Or while you're figuring out those plans. So how can we help, navigate either you're aging in place or going to transition to senior living? We also work a lot with senior living communities that do want options and choices for the residents. We're a place where you can consult with us. We want you to be educated, make a good decision, make a good investment. Everything is not very expensive. We have a lot of things in different price ranges. So we're going to meet you where you're at and find those options. We are private pay. We offer rentals, home safety, and accessibility options. Really quality vendors, 2,000-3,000 square foot showrooms, and we do all the warranties in-house servicing. So we don't use any subcontractors. It is all our team. all with the same mission of giving the best service. So here's the address of our 2 showrooms. We are always happy to answer free questions. And also, we can do assessments and give free quotes, whatever it is to your situation. So hopefully that was on time. I haven't.
Thank you, Jamie. We appreciate you sharing that. All right, guys. And to bring it all together, we're going to be hearing from Erin Pickrell, Director of Griswold Home Care for Chevy Chase, on the in-home care and daily support that make aging in place better. And Erin is both a certified dementia practitioner and a certified senior advisor. She serves on the board of directors for the Bethesda Chevy Chase Rotary Club and is active with local villages and senior wellness organizations. Her passion for home care began early through her mother's Griswold agency in Delaware, and after several years in nonprofit work in Costa Rica, she founded her own franchise in 2020. Today, Erin leads a thriving business that reflects her commitment to community service, entrepreneurship, and compassionate caregiving leadership. So thank you so much, Erin, and the floor is yours.
Thanks so much. And you guys can see my screen correctly?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks so much. To Potomac Concierge and Freedom Mobility, I learned a lot, and I think I'm going to talk about support for aging in place in Montgomery County. And so, of course, that is what we do, but also I hope to provide some community resources that can help, our participants and those listening to age in place safely and with the support they need. And so, as Saran mentioned, I grew up in the home care business, and now I own and operate our Griswold Home Care franchise here in Montgomery County since 2020. I have a 2-year-old son, and I live in Kensington, and we love, being here and being in Montgomery County. And it is a great place to grow older. And I think so. One thing that I've heard a few times, but that we wanted to emphasize is that, I think a lot of people think that aging in place is the status quo, that, I'm just going to stay here and, live and be safe and continue on my life. And, that may be possible, but you also do want to have a plan to stay in your house. And so that might mean modifications or organizing for sure, like decluttering, making your home safer, and potentially home care. And so first, in your planning, again, you want to evaluate your needs. So evaluate your home, what modifications you might need, what decluttering or organization or home maintenance, like personal assistance services you might need. And then as well, like how can a potentially caregiver or neighbor or volunteer, help you at home? And so, of course, day-to-day living, we do a lot of things that do, get older. Like, what does that look like in terms of your physical health, moving around your house, daily living, like doing laundry? If that's in the basement, how difficult is that going to be? Do I need to plan to move the laundry upstairs, or do I need to get railings for the basement stairs? Just thinking about that, things like that. Your cognitive and emotional well-being. So what does that look like in terms of your community resources, maybe finding your senior center that's closest, YMCA, what you're interested in, want to continue doing. Of course, we talked a lot about your home safety and accessibility. How are you going to get your nutrition, your groceries, transportation, of course, if you are going to continue to drive, making that as safe as possible and as accessible as possible. And of course, legal and financial preparedness. We do want to, in planning to age in place, make sure that we have our advance directives, wills, power of attorneys all set up, in case something happens and decisions need to be made on your behalf or, with you, of course. And so I think we get the question a lot about, what does home care do and how does it maybe differ from home health? And so we say that home care is really an extra family member, the things that a family member might help you with, which can include that homemaking, we talked about laundry and changing your bed sheets, light housekeeping, errands, taking you to the doctor, getting groceries and making meals, things like that, as well as personal care, making sure that you are taking a shower or getting into and out of the shower safely. Of course, as Jamie mentioned, one of the it's the most dangerous room in your house. And so making sure that you are safely taking care of yourself in the bathroom or that your loved one is, of course, too. And then, of course, truly nowadays, and I think like this has increased substantially since COVID. But there are lots of people that will come to your home to make sure that you are healthy. And so that can include physical therapy, occupational therapy, but as well as, nursing care, wound care, even, doctors, primary care at home. People are visiting you in your home, making sure that you are safe and also providing medical care and prescription delivery, grocery delivery. Again, all things you just want to consider and make sure that you are familiar with as you make the decision to age in place. And because that's what I want to emphasize is that it is a decision, and it's not just like the status quo, I guess, is you should decide to age in place and be familiar with these resources. And then when you do, so say you've modified your home, you've gotten organized, and you've decided to age in place, and now you do need a little support at home. We provide that home care, of course, Griswold, and these are questions to ask that agency that you decide to go with. Or ask several agencies, of course. But so, our caregivers, employers, or independent contractors, both of which have, positives and negatives. With employees, we are responsible for our employees in your home. And so that can be, of course, like benefits and paid time off, but also if something does happen, we have workers' compensation insurance and we're bonded and insured. How are your caregivers screened and trained? And that also differs with employees and independent contractors. But, agencies here in Maryland do have an RN to help train and supervise their caregivers. What's the policy for missed shifts or emergencies? So if you want someone there, no matter what, you should let your agency know, and that, should be possible. It is possible with Griswold, of course. Any contractor service agreement you, of course, want to review. Are they insured and bonded? I already talked about a little bit. And so again, this is just something that you might want to review, now. If you decide to age in place, you say, I want to look at a few different agencies and look at their service agreements, what might work best for me when I do need care in the future. And then what to expect from home care. So there is an initial visit where, an office staff here, it's our office staff and our RN visit, and they talk over that care plan and schedule with you in your home. And then once you decide what that looks like, that is, you start service, our office matches a caregiver with you. And then, of course, you should expect that ongoing supervision and communication from the office. So, of course, checking in, making sure that things are going okay, visiting the home. Again, kind of that supervision also helps to make recommendations for those modifications that Jamie can help with, or the organization that Libby can help with that might make your home safer for longer. That, is the goal for all of us. And then really we get asked about the schedules a lot too, and that can super depend on your needs. So we can do hourly, minimum of 2 hours, up to 24/7 care. Griswold in particular, and another consideration for that decision to age in place is we do live-in care, as Libby and Aida said, that maybe organizing or clearing out a room for a caregiver to stay with you 24/7. We can do that as well. And they have sleep time overnight. It's really a great way of having a consistent caregiver to help and provide that peace of mind for your family who might be out of town. And we do offer some welcome home packages, so very short term, if you have surgery or a discharge from the hospital that you just need help with short term, we can provide that. And then what I am excited about to talk to you a little bit about are the community resources that, again, when you make the decision to age in place, or even, as you are aging in place, that you want to be really aware of these resources, specifically here in Montgomery County, but also all over the DMV. So this, of course, is Montgomery County, but the Village movement really has dozens of groups across the DMV that are volunteer-led grassroots groups that they aim to support community members who choose to age in place. And so it's kind of like home care light, as Jamie was saying, their modifications light. They typically can help with driving to doctor's appointments, picking up prescriptions. It does vary based on each village. Even kind of some small household tasks, changing light bulbs, taking out the trash, little things that are very helpful when you are aging in your home. And it also provides a socialization support as well. So they often have social events. Again, like staying connected with your community that you've lived in for 50 years, but maybe it has changed and you want to meet your new neighbors. So these are, the ones that we have in Montgomery County, but there are very strong villages in DC and Virginia as well. And you can definitely Google Village. I know Montgomery County, I can share the website. And it's a great place to start to get involved with aging in place. Specifically in Montgomery County, we have an ARC, Senior Respite Coordination. This does exist in other counties too. Respite, I would Google respite care Montgomery County or respite care DC. ARC, Montgomery County Senior Respite Coordination specifically provides up to 40 hours per month of home care services. We're an approved provider. It's free for residents of Montgomery County. And this particular program, the recipient must be over 60 years old and live in the same household. So I have the website there for sure. I can definitely share these resources as well. And I did just want to very quickly talk about another resource to age in place successfully is veterans benefits. So if you are a veteran, you are a surviving spouse, there are two programs, Homemaker, Home Health Aid, and the Aid and Attendance Pension that can help you get services in your home and pay for them as well. So it can be an increased pension or an approval for a certain number of hours. I am really happy to talk more about that if you call our office or email me, of course. And I want to leave a few minutes for questions. So I really thank you for your time. I know we have a few, and I will stop sharing and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Erin. We do have some questions in the chat. So the first one is from Mayowa, and she's asking, I think this is for Libby and Ida, what is your experience with someone that wants home organization but does not want you to move things around or rearrange stuff?
I can It's a process. Some people are very resistant to any change, particularly if they've been in that space for a long time. You start small and you might just start with a drawer. You might just start with the corner and you it doesn't have to be a painful process. It doesn't not need to be, I mean, we actually, everybody we who works with us, we have manuals on how to, read the client, read the room. If the client has their heads in their hands, do not keep pushing. Say, let's take a minute. Let's have a cup of tea. You have a cup of tea, and we'll just kind of situate things. And so a lot of it is maybe you just pull everything out and then go through it and say if it's clothing, if there's rips, if there's stains, if you say do we need to keep these? And so there's the process of elimination. There's also of where perhaps if they've got 15 black coats, maybe you could say maybe you could get by with 10. And there's other people who could use the jacket. So if you can extend the life of the item, and there's so many sayings of, if everything's special, then nothing's special. Or if how are you honoring the item? If it's in a box in an attic, that's not honoring the item. So there's ways to just reframe how they look at things and how things are placed and options, and then move slowly, and then you gain their trust and then hopefully make a difference.
I think too, in that situation, you try to work in a very limited space and maybe focus on what is it that you don't want. So if you have a cluster of things on your counter, rather than pulling everything out and moving it around if it makes them feel uncomfortable, let's just say, okay, do you need this piece, and go piece by piece and try to get it out. But you really have to start slow and be very empathetic, because it's a hard process and it's a lot harder for some people than others. But once you get started, I feel that almost everybody starts to get into it and feels really good about it.
Thank you, Olivia and Ida. And I know, I think the next question is for Jamie. I know you answered it in the chat already, but just so the rest of the participants can hear also, are the high-low beds on display in your showrooms?
The answer is yes. Most all of those beds are in both of the showrooms. So yes, the ones that we sort of highlight on our flyers are definitely there. It's a large showroom, so there's lots of different options in different categories of equipment. But yeah, come check them out. They're definitely really nice to be able to lay on the beds and the mattresses and see how they function and compare, like, maybe to what they've had already from insurance, or it's a good way to figure out if that's something that you want long term.
Thank you so much. And then I think we have two more questions, and this is, I'm thinking, for Erin. One is from Gregory, and he's asking, do you serve Washington, D.C.? And the other question is from C, and she wants to know if you can kindly summarize / describe the Montgomery County agencies that assist with aging in place issues and their roles.
Yeah, so I think Griswold Home Care does not serve Washington, D.C., but there are absolutely home care agencies that do. And I believe Libby and Aida, you do serve Washington, D.C., right?
We do.
And Virginia. And Jamie, I mean, you would also, yes. Great. So, but and Griswold, we do serve Virginia as well, and all of Maryland. So happy to help and always, talk about options in DC too. And then, of course, the Montgomery County agencies that assist with aging in place issues and their roles. There are many. And so I think the one that I mentioned is, the ARC Montgomery County does respite care. There's, of course, our senior centers. There's the Commission on Aging. There truly are many here in Maryland. And I also did share like the durable medical equipment reuse in Maryland. Um, I can absolutely follow up with UC and, send out some of those links when I send out the recording. Um, are there other places that I'm like big places that I'm missing, if any of the other panelists know?
Thank you. I would greatly appreciate those resource links. Thank you.
Okay, great. And I think we just got one last question, and I think this is for Jamie. Brad wants to know, what are the showroom hours?
We're basically open during the weekdays, from 9 to 4. Monday through Friday is basically what our showroom hours are now. Yeah. So,
Okay.
thanks, Brett.
All right. Well, I think that concludes all of our questions. And thank you so much for everyone for joining. And if you guys have any questions or want any links to these resources, just send Erin an email and we will definitely follow up. And yeah, thank you guys. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much for hosting this, and thank you everybody for attending. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you all. We really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for taking your time to inform us. Thanks. Bye-bye.